Hello everyone, welcome back. One of my viewers asked a question after I had done the video on shooting 1,000 yards with this Palmetto AR-10 and this primary arm scope 525 by 56. He asked me after a day of shooting, was it holding zero? Did it lose its zero? And initially I thought that was kind of strange. Because I'm like, I've got lots of other primary arm scopes. They've never lost zero. I don't think I've ever reported it. I mean, it seemed like a strange question, but then I remembered two things. Number one, I'm shooting a 308. Okay, so because I had, prior to the last range day where I was shooting 1,000 yards, I had this scope on an AR-15 shooting 5.56, and I had probably shot a couple of hundred rounds of that, right? But yeah, the 5.56 has a lot less recoil. Okay, so yeah, I think it might be a very valid question to at least consider. So now the other important thing to consider is with this type of a scope, we're constantly dialing up, dialing down. So you got like these gears that are constantly working, right, as you're dialing up and down for different distances. So this is really the first primary arm scope that I have that I'm really shooting out like 500 plus yards, and I'm doing dialing. Usually with the other scopes that I had, they're like 1 to 8, 1 to 10. I'm using the reticle to hold. Here I'm constantly spinning the turret. So again, another reason why that's a very valid question. So we're gonna forget about the first few hundred rounds that I shot with the 5.56. We're gonna look at the 100 or so rounds that I shot a few days ago when I was at that 1,000 yard range. At that location, I actually had to pick up the brass and bring it back here. So I don't know why ranges make you collect the brass. To me, it's like decoration. I like seeing brass on the ground. Okay, I mean, you can see now most of the stuff I use is steel cases, so you can see like literally like hundreds of thousands of rounds of steel case here. But anyway, I originally had a 50-yard zero, and I put this back out there at 50 yards, and I took 5 shots, and then I took another 5 shots, and yeah, they're pretty much all going like. They're all kind of touching each other over there. Now, if you notice, it is a little bit to the right, and that's because of me. I had made an adjustment. This is prior to going to the 1,000-yard range. Oh, actually, I got it on because it's capped. Prior to going there, I had adjusted this 1 mil to the right because I think I was shooting it here one day, and I thought it was pulling to the right. It was probably the wind. I was shooting it at 200 yards here. So you know what? We're gonna put this back to where it originally was, so that the zero now lines up with that line. That's where I had this. Like when I first set the zero on this. Let's get this back on here. Okay, so it's capped turret. So that one's capped. This one's exposed. When you buy this, they also give you an exposed turret in case you want to, in case you prefer to dial your windage instead of holding. So yeah, no problem at all with this thing holding its zero after about 100 rounds, right over there. About 100 rounds of 308, maybe 120. Maybe a little bit more. I wasn't. Yeah, I think it was like something like. It was probably 120 rounds. No problem with this thing holding zero. I really like the zero stop on this. This is the first scope I've used that has a zero stop. The other thing I've come to really like on this scope compared to because I was also playing around with a Swamp Fox. I really like that this has 10 mils per rotation, right? So when you go, so if I want to dial up, let's say like I had to dial up 11.5 mils, so you come all the way around to the 11 to the zero, so that's 10, and then I dialed up 1.5. Okay, so that's a lot easier to keep track of, right? Then you go back down to your zero. It's a lot easier to keep track of, right? Going all the way around, right, and seeing the zero and knowing that you're up 10 mils, and then if I want to, let's say, go to 14, I can go to the 4, right, and then I can just dial back down to zero, right? So that's a big convenience. So I was using this other scope from Swamp Fox. That only had 6 mils per rotation. The turn itself was a little bit smaller. So initially I didn't think that'd be an issue, but in practicality it is, because what happens is, like, let's say I wanted to dial up 11.5 mils on that, right? Well, I gotta go 6, all right, and then I guess another 6 is 12, and then dial it back half. So I have to think different. It's a lot easier to think in tens. And let's say I want to dial up 14. Now I gotta go up 6, plus another 6 is 12, and then I gotta go around to the 2. So you know what? One of the things I've decided after having worked with this primary arm scope and having worked with another one that has 6 mils per rotation on any scope that I'm going to be likely going to be dialing, I want it to have 10 mils per rotation. It makes it a lot easier. Now I have here the Discovery Op. It's a 20 MOA mount, okay, which gives me 4 additional mils of elevation, because otherwise, like, because usually when you're zeroing, you're only using like the top half of the travel on your turn. So by using the 20 MOA, it adds, it adds another 4. What I really need is like a 25 or even better, a 30 MOA scope mount, right? But they're like $200, and I just didn't think it was worth it. And this is fine. This got me out to 1,000 yards. I got 8 out of 10 for 22 inches, which is like 2.2 MOA. So this is fine. This 20 MOA out to 1,000 yards. But if I want to get out to like 1,200 or 1,500 yards, yeah, I gotta get a scope mount that has like 30 MOA. Okay. So there it is, guys. Yeah, definitely, absolutely hold zero after a day at the range, which was a fair question. Like initially, I was like kind of like, I was thinking like, initially I was thinking, yeah, I mean, I would expect it, but then I thought to myself, hey, wait a second, I don't, as much experience as I have with these primary arm scopes, I don't have that much experience shooting 308 and dialing on them. So let's come here and let's check out that zero, and yep, there it is. It's good to go, guys. So this is great. This is the SLX. So this is a $500 scope. Now they'll list it for like $600 and $700, but on the holidays, you gotta catch it with the discounts that Optics Planet usually offers. And I got this scope here for $500. Absolute bargain. $500 scope on a $700 Palmetto AR-10. The way you get that is you buy the lower and the upper separate. So it was $200 for the AR-10 lower, and then it was $500 for the AR-10 upper, which they shipped to my house. $700. So $700 plus $500 plus $35 for the mount. I like using these clear Lancer magazines. These are real nice. They're expensive though. They're like $35. I got like 3 of them. The rest of them are all Magpols because those are like $20 each. But yeah, it's nice to have a few of these clear Lancers to work with. So let me know if you guys got any questions about this from any of the stuff you've seen me do with this rifle. And yeah, I'm glad this person asked me this question. It turned out to be an excellent question that I hadn't thought about, and I'm glad I got out here today and I tested it, and also remembered that because as you guys can see here, I had it set 1 mil to the right. And again, this was before I shot the 1,000 yards, before that range day, so I brought it back to center it up a little bit more. Okay, drop some comments below. Talk to you all soon.